Welcome back to It Was Never a Face Cards, and in this video we're going to be touching on the hottest cards of the week. We're going to talk about some promos, some chase cards, a little bit of everything in this video. Let's just dive straight into it. We have to start off with a trio of promos. These Charizard promos from that SPC from the Sword and Shield era have been seeing absolutely crazy gains lately. Look at just in the last month, 138% up on this Charizard VMAX. This is number Sword and Shield 261. This is one of the three promos that we'll be talking about right off the bat in this video, from $27 up to over $65 currently, is what you can expect. If you zoom out right here, obviously we're at an all-time high, 342% on the year. A year ago, this was a $14 card. I remember when these were much cheaper. I remember when these were 10 and below, obviously. They've been slowly creeping up into that $20 range, and then just massive explosive growth. Also, the UPC that these boxes come in, those are going to be doing real well in the future. They're obviously already doing well, but they're just going to continue to absolutely soar. Lowest listed right now for this card are around $55 with shipping. So there's a few that are definitely below the current market. So we'll have to see if this card takes a little bit of a dip after this explosive growth. I wouldn't be too surprised. A lot of the time that does happen. You see a big old explosive growth and then a little bit of a retrace. So maybe keep an eye out on for that. But Charizard VMAX leading the way there. And you might be surprised with some of the PSA 10 sales. Last sold as of this morning, $600 in a PSA 10. Before that, $500. There was a few in the 650s as well. So PSA 10 prices may be surprising you. The V-Star right here, this is number 262, the one where he's fighting Mewtwo. Also seeing some really big gains, 46% in the past month, going from, this was already kind of getting up there. It was a $48, $50 card. Now we're seeing it at $70. So another great promo. Obviously, this one's stunning, right? Fighting Mewtwo. It's got that Crown Zenith tie-in card, but lowest listed right now are pretty much right at that $70 mark. You can see right here if you include shipping. So Charizard V-Star right there, looking very solid. Zoom out to the 1 year and you can see 438% gains. A year ago, this was a $13 card. We will check the PSA 10 on this as well. 890 was the last sold as of this morning, the recording of this video. You can see there was a pair right here. You got the Mewtwo V-Star and the Charizard, 1,500 for a sequential set. So that's a nice sequential set, by the way. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. I do like seeing that. Very, very expensive, though. Pretty consistent in those last $800 sales. Absolutely insane PSA 10 prices. I don't think anybody would have predicted that we'd be seeing these prices from these promos this quickly, or if ever, to be honest. Just absolutely insane to see. And then lastly, we do need to talk about, not up as much, but the little sleepy Charizard V, after he's taken a little nap after fighting Venusaur right here, up 50% in the past month, from a $30 card up to around 45. You can see it's come down a little bit, 46, come down a little, 45 off of that. Most recent sale, though, actually 49. So we'll have to check the lowest listeds right now. They're not quite at that $49 range. They're at more at 45. 44, 45 is what you can currently expect from the Sleepy Charizard. 472% on the year. A 1 year low of $6.59. Now, this is definitely going to be the most affordable of the trio in a PSA 10, but still insanely expensive, all things considered. Last sold 350. This one seems abnormally high at 500, and then you got 330, a 450, 475, and 460. So maybe that 500 isn't quite as high. Maybe these 300s were just people had just listed these a little bit low and hadn't seen that they'd moved up. So the trio of Charizards from that SPC looking real good overall. We do have one more promo I want to talk about real quick. This is the special delivery Pikachu, Sword and Shield number 074. This card's seeing quite a bit of a gain as well, and we're also starting to see really low supply on this card. 31% just in the past 3 months, from $173 card up to around $240 current market. However, check out this last sold, $350 for the special delivery Pika, and lowest listeds right now. You got one at 270, but then it's all 325 and up, and then we're starting to get into that possibly even $500 range. So another interesting thing to keep an eye on. Maybe this Pikachu continues to move up really big. So I mean, when there's only 8 copies on TCG Player, you know it's starting to get a little scarce. A year ago, $105 card. So very, very massive gains. Once this chart updates to in this $300 range, the 1 year percentage will look a lot better. So special delivery Pikachu looking real good. The Charizard's looking real good. I think that's mostly it for the promos. We're going to talk about some other chase cards and other cards in a second. But first, we need to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Shiny. If you collect Pokemon cards, which obviously you are if you're watching this video, or anything, you got your Lorcana, any other TCG that you collect, you need to be tracking your collection in Shiny, whether it's chase cards, raw copies, sealed, graded, whatever you have, booster boxes, ETBs, everything, you need to be logging it into Shiny because it's going to tell you how much your collection's worth. And in today's market, day-to-day changes are big, and you need to know like what cards are moving, because you may never know what cards you have that maybe you got for free or for $1 and now they're worth $20, $30, $40. That is what's happening right now in the current market. So Shiny can help you track that. Completely free to use. It's available on Apple and Android. There'll be a link in the description if you want to check out Shiny. It's a great way to track your collection. It's what I use, and I'm a very visual person, so I like seeing these charts go up and stuff right here. So it helps me really visualize where my collection is at. You also don't have to take my word for it. You can check out the App Store. 4.9 out of 5-star reviews. So highly reviewed app. Make sure you check out Shiny for your collection tracking needs. And then let's just jump back straight into it. We talked about this card recently, but I just wanted to address it again as it's kind of continued to move up a little bit. This is the Mew V from Fusion Strike. Now, this card is up pretty massive, 100 and almost 80% in the past 3 months, from around a $50 card up to 150. There's only 27 copies currently listed on TCG Player, so starting to get a little scarce as well. This was, we kind of saw this one coming. If you watched that video when we kind of mentioned it, seemed like it was an easy one with Fusion Strike getting so expensive, and then like the Bubble Mew and Mew cards in general getting expensive. This was kind of an easy one to point out, but we're starting to see $150 currently. Lowest listeds, we do have looks like one at 135, but then it's kind of all at 150 and up. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this one. If it can creep up closer to that $200 mark, maybe surpass it, it's definitely possible. You start to look at Fusion Strike being $1,000 box. You see where the Gengar's at. You see where the Bubble Mew's at. It would start to make sense. This is an alternate art. Tough to pull alternate art from an expensive set. So it does start to add up if you look at it that way. And previously, the all-time high earlier this year was around $80. It cooled down all the way, like I said, I mentioned earlier, to that $54 mark. But the 1 year low for this card was around $30. Could have picked this up for $30 a year ago, and now it's $150 raw. I believe PSA 10s on this are up pretty big as well more recently. I don't have that pulled up at the moment, but we do need to also talk about, it's been a little minute since we've talked about the Seismitoad from Black Bolt, but we're starting to see a bounce on Seismitoad. You can see it was declining after its previous run. At release, it was a $60 card. It ran up pretty big. It was getting that Shinji Kanda hype. The artist, in general, he's done some very expensive cards like the Magikarp from Paldea, the Giratina from Lost Origin, cards like that. But there was some speculation that it might get banned because of this little, it's hard to see in this photo right here, but these little vines say 666, so people thought it might be getting banned. It turns out that hasn't been the case, at least as of yet. But it's fallen off of that 232 all the way down to around 150. Still very big gains considering it went from 60 to 150 essentially. But now we're seeing it get back up to that $200 mark. So some pretty big gains. Supply starting to get a little bit low as well. 28 copies currently on TCG. Lowest listed 200, and then it makes a big jump. After one more sale, we'll be up to around 240, and then 250, nearing 300 if sales continue like this. So the Seismitoad may be another one just to keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on this one. It's kind of an interesting one. Very new card, very expensive. Kind of getting that a little bit of that Magikarp treatment at the moment. So very, very expensive. Illustration rare, by the way, not a special illustration rare. This is just a regular IR. And then we talked about this recently, but I have to include it in this video because this is the hottest cards of the week, and it'd be a shame not to include the Moonbryon. The Moonbryon has shot up massively, really quick too. Look at the 1 month chart right here, 55%. in the past month, going from around a $1,400 card up to over $2,000 in a raw copy. PSA 10s have been exploding as well. Like I said, we touched on this in a recent video, but this is just a little bit of an update of where things currently are at. All the lowest listeds are over $2,000, just a little bit over, closer to 2,100. And if you look at the amount of sales, there's really not that many that have to sell until we get to like a $2,500 raw copy potentially. So it'll be interesting to see where this card ends up. You zoom out right here. Obviously, we're at an all-time high. Previous all-time high was around 1,800, and then it fell off of that. The 1 year low under 1,000, $954 a year ago. Now you're seeing over 2,000 raw. And just keep in mind too that this is actually a fairly easy card to grade, all things considered. So if you have a decently centered card, you do have a good chance to add a PSA 10. The print quality seemed to have been pretty decent for Evolving Skies. So this one does have a pretty high gem rate, all things considered. But yeah, over $2,000 currently raw. Let me know if you had that on your bingo card to happen already. I mean, it happened so quick. Like, look at this. It's just like a few days. Massive gains. So that's where we're at with the Umbreon VMAX. And then I also real quickly just wanted to point out this VMAX. So this is also from Evolving Skies. It's just the regular VMAX, if you will. It's not a very expensive card, but we are starting to see some percentage-wise, some pretty big gains. This is number 095. If you're interested in looking it up, it's up 56% in the past month, going from a $14 card up to in the 23s. And if you zoom out, obviously we're at an all-time high there. A year ago, this was a $5 card. So it's still like dollar-wise, not the craziest gain, but you start to think people like Evolving Skies. They really like the current Moonbryon. Obviously, we just talked about it, very expensive. The Umbreon V, which we did not pull up for in this video, but that's insanely expensive as well. If people want a little bit of the Umbreon cake, if you will, without having to pay the extreme Umbreon price, maybe that's why this card's moving. People go, oh, well, I'll get just the regular VMAX. It's kind of cool. So maybe that's playing a factor. I'm not exactly sure, but this card's up 323% on the year. So this card has been moving up. It'll be interesting to see kind of where it goes. Currently, lowest listeds are at $24, which is a little bit above the current market. So we'll see if it can continue to trend up. It'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on there. So just a little random side note, not a big mover per se, but thought it was worth mentioning after the Moonbryon. Then we have to talk about this Rayquaza from Silver Tempest. I like this card. Trainer Gallery. I always thought this one was really undervalued. Now we're starting to see it maybe get a little bit more properly valued, especially in this current market. Supply also starting to get low. Let's see, just in the past month, 53% just in the past month alone, but 70% in the last 3 months, going from around $70 up to $117 current market price, and lowest listeds are all higher than that. 135 and up. You go 135, 150, and then we're getting closer into that $200 range potentially. So that is another interesting one to keep an eye on. Silver Tempest, slowly chugging up as far as booster boxes go. Obviously the Lugia doing really well, but let's see how many have sold in the past month, because that's an interesting indicator usually as well. Sales will slow down as the price increases, but 93 copies sold in the past month and only 26 currently available. So we could see this Rayquaza move up pretty big right here. TG number 20, if you want to look it up, from the Silver Tempest Trainer Gallery. So a really nice looking Rayquaza. It was real undervalued for a while. A year ago, let's see, the 1 year low, I forgot to mention this, was around $30. And then it had its run up to around 80, and it kind of held in that 80 to 70 range for a long time. Months and months and months before its big shoot up more recently. So this one really didn't decline off of that big rise. So that shows a lot of strength in this card. Obviously, Rayquaza is extremely popular Pokemon, so that does kind of make sense. And in this current market, everything's going up. So not really surprised to see this one moving. Another card just worth noting, it's not really up as big, but it's a fun card, a fun Trainer Gallery from Silver Tempest. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Is the Blaziken VMAX. This is number TG15. I've always liked this card. You can go back and find some old videos where I talk about this card and I liked it. But I love the trainer just hanging on for dear life. I just think it's a fun card. I like this card better than like the alt art Blaziken. I just like the art style better. It's not obviously going to be, I'm not saying it's going to, outpace that by any means. That's, totally different alternate art chase card. But I think this one's more fun in my opinion. So anyways, just a trainer gallery card. It's up a little bit, 16%, nothing too crazy in the past 3 months. And if we zoom out on the 1 year, a year ago, this was an $8 card. And then it's come up to around $28 in January. And then it kind of fell off of that down to around 23. And now it's up a little bit more to around 28. So Blaziken VMAX Trainer Gallery card. Just thought it was worth mentioning. And then lastly, we got to touch on, these are cards we've talked about recently as well, but worth noting again with a little bit of an update. The Roaring Moon from Prismatic. This card is up 33% in the past month. Starting to see a bounce. It was falling off for a while like a lot of Prismatic cards were. But here's a little update. Check out how low of supply we're seeing. 18 copies currently listed on TCG Player. They got market at 192. Most recent sales all in the 200s. And lowest listeds right now are, you got one at 196. But if you want to go from some more reputable sellers, some starred sellers right here, 290 to 300. So we could potentially be seeing the Roaring Moon from Prismatic start to see some big gains. And you can see previously, it came out the gate, it declined a little bit to 170, shot up to 300 after release, and then it's been falling until recently. So we'll have to see if it can get back to this previous all-time high of $300. That'll be something I'll be keeping an eye on. I'll keep you guys updated, so don't worry. Make sure stay subscribed to the channel with notifications on. I'll update you guys when it starts to move. And then lastly, from Prismatic, we do have the Leafeon number 144 special illustration rare, seeing quite a decent bounce, up 22.5% in the past month from around 215 up to 265 currently. Supply starting to get a little bit low. Right here, under 30 copies currently listed on TCG Player. Lowest listed for an English copy, you have 240, and then it goes up just a handful of sales, right? 240. Two at 240, then you have one, this is actually a PSA 9 at 285, and then we're all into the 300 plus range. So we could definitely be seeing this move up, probably will we in the near future. We're starting to see the Umbreon from Prismatic. We talked about that recently. That's starting to move, so I think the other evolutions will continue to move as well. And obviously the Roaring Moon, I think maybe it's time we start seeing some of those Prismatic singles start to move again up a little bit, maybe going into this holiday season. But previous all-time high was around 460. I don't know if we're going to get back to that on this card, but I definitely think it could easily crack that $300 range, 320, 350. Seems like probably doable. 350 might be a bit of a push, at least currently, but you never know with how this market moves, how quickly it moves. Definitely a possibility. So I'll keep you guys updated on all of these cards and more in the future. Like I said, I do if you're new to the channel, I do post every single day, so you guys can watch. Some people just listen. I know that there's some viewers who made some comments saying that they just listen on their way to or from work. So either way, however you consume the content, I'm happy to have you guys here, and greatly appreciative for all of you that have watched, liked, commented, subscribed to any of those things. I greatly appreciate it. So that is all I have for you guys in this one. Just a little bit of a market update for some of the hottest cards that have been moving lately. That's all I have. We'll end it there. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.